Today we will debate the Republican House proposals on E12 and transportation. Both of them are completely inadequate in different ways. We yesterday debated a tax bill that's $1.35 billion. The Republican priorities are to put tax cuts for the super rich and corporations ahead of investing in our schools or investing in our transportation infrastructure. Jim Davnie will talk about the E12 bill.
Thank you, Representative Hortman. Good morning, Jim Davnie. The K-12 bill that we'll be debating today undermines opportunities for Minnesota's children from pre-kindergarten through high school graduation and beyond. It funds schools at a rate below the inflation rate, limits parental choice in early childhood, repeals the voluntary pre-kindergarten program, steps back from the state's commitment to make college possible for all students who wish, and penalizes schools where parents have chosen to exercise their right to opt their child out of the state's standardized testing process. The elimination of the Pathway 2 scholarships denies families access to 1,897 preschool providers across the state. Family, center-based care, Head Start, as well as school-based opportunities. These are programs that parents choose and quality opportunities for our youngest learners. This is the first time that I've seen an education finance chair actually decrease funding to the general education formula after her bill had passed out of the Finance Committee. That's the base funding that every child in Minnesota relies on for their education. While the state faces a significant teacher shortage, funding our schools below inflation is going to force schools to look at teacher layoffs and opportunity cuts in programs and extracurricular opportunities for the kids. But it's not just what's in the bill, besides the inadequate funding. It's what's missing from the bill. Minnesota ranks near the bottom in our school counselors, who play a critical role in children's lives, both in providing them with some of the emotional support that they may need during the school day so that they can focus on their learning, but also guiding students towards career paths and educational opportunities after high school. We need to continue the efforts that we've started just 2 years ago to move Minnesota to a better place on our school counselor to child ratio. We need to support strategies to better engage families and communities in the community's education by funding initiatives such as full-service community schools, an evidence-based opportunity that many districts are looking to either establish or expand, and education innovation partnerships that are being left off the bill, particularly those that are looking to develop in greater Minnesota. And we need to provide more opportunities after school for kids to be engaged, for kids to explore, and maybe even have a little bit of fun. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for attending our press availability. I'm Frank Hornstein. I'm the DFL lead on the Transportation Policy and Finance Committee. So the transportation bill, the Republican transportation bill that we'll be debating today, is really built on a flimsy house of cards. It relies almost exclusively on general fund money that can be used for a variety of purposes, including education, including putting more money on the formula, as Representative Davnie discussed, nursing homes, schools, healthcare. And instead of using a dedicated source that provides Minnesotans a guarantee, long-term, of stable transportation funding, it relies almost exclusively on the general fund and increased debt via bonding. And so this bill falls far short of what's needed to improve the safety of our roads, to expand our road and bridge system. And in fact, it cuts back significantly on transit, particularly in the metropolitan area. A 40% cut in regular route bus service. And these are impacts that will affect both Republican and Democratic areas of the metropolitan region. And so we have a inadequate road and bridge section of the bill and deep cuts in transit. This is not a vision. It doesn't move our state forward. And in fact, it moves us backwards. And we also have real inadequate provisions on rail safety in this bill. I will be introducing an amendment to just add a few more inspectors. We have more miles of track than many states in the country and far less inspectors. We also have problems with the fact that this bill has a liability cap on freight rail in terms of major disasters that could take place, not only in light rail corridors, but in fact, this is going to be a precedent, I think, all across the state, limiting railroads' liability in case of a major disaster. So I want to call on Representative Clark Johnson, who's been a strong leader on transportation in our caucus and has paid particular attention to the impacts of this bill on Greater Minnesota.
Thank you. I'm Clark Johnson. I represent District 19A. I live in North Mankato. And I agree with Representative Hornstein. The idea of using only general fund money to support increases in transportation funding creates problems in this budget, but it also creates some real concerns going forward. I'm particularly concerned by the heavy borrowing that this bill would do, which could place the state in serious jeopardy several years down the road in an economic downturn, or where future legislatures would be faced with draconian choices between paying off the bond houses, because it's using general fund money to pay that back, or meeting the needs of kids, meeting the needs of important services, and that's a real problem with this bill. Corridors of Commerce is a program that shows potential for creating the kind of development that we need in Greater Minnesota. The idea is to connect regional centers with 4-lane highways. And I'll tell you that our regional centers are the points in rural Minnesota where there's potential for significant job growth, good jobs, the kind of jobs that can sustain families. And yet for those regional centers to thrive, we absolutely need better infrastructure, better roads. And this bill only provides $300 million over a 10-year span for the corridors of commerce. I'm particularly concerned about Highway 14. I do not see a pathway to completion of that road in this bill, and that's a major disappointment. I also want to add that as I've sat through the hearings this year, really disappointed as a rural member on what I see as an attack on transit, particularly in the metropolitan area. You know, we in rural Minnesota, we depend on a vibrant Twin Cities. We really do, and we recognize that. And there's a symbiotic relationship. I can only imagine the trade networks, the volume of trade between Mankato and the Twin Cities. It's great. We depend on a strong Twin Cities, just as the Twin Cities depends on a strong Greater Minnesota. And the attack on transit from a rural perspective is wrong as well. I guess my last comment is, we talk a lot about transportation a lot where I live, and we've talked about this a long time. And I think there's a pretty strong consensus in my part of the state where we need real new dedicated funding for roads and bridges and a strong, complete statewide transportation plan. And what we say is, let's get her done and do it right. And this bill just doesn't do that.
Well, on that, I assume that you have an amendment, or there are amendments for gas tax, new gas tax or gas tax increase. What are you planning on proposing?
We brought, I authored a bill with three of my rural colleagues, to add 10 cents to the gas tax. That bill was considered in committee for possible inclusion. It was not included for possible inclusion. We do not have an amendment today to do the same.
Are there any amendments to raise the gas tax?
That wouldn't make any sense. You know, the Republicans aren't serious about putting dedicated constitutional funding into their transportation bill, and so it would be a pure exercise in futility that wouldn't accomplish anything. I think the burden is really on the Republicans to come forward with a balanced, sustainable, long-term funding plan for transportation. They haven't done that. They would not accept an amendment like that. It would take a lot of time to debate it, and it wouldn't move the ball forward.
And let me just add to this. A serious effort at putting together a transportation bill. We have the model for that. It's what Bernie Leader did in 2008. He made sure that every part of the state was taken care of, that roads and bridges were funded adequately, that Metro Transit was funded adequately. He knew the importance of having dedicated, reliable, constitutionally guaranteed money. But to put together a bill like that takes time, and it takes listening, and it takes building relationships, and it really means coalition building between business and labor, the public sector, all sorts of groups that have a stake in the success of our transportation. There has been absolutely none of that coming from the other side. And in fact, it would be the opposite of a Bernie Leader approach. Last year, not many people knew about this, but towards the end of session, Senator Dibble and Representative Kelly did have the outlines of a compromise. The Senate gave up the gross receipts tax. The offer, what was on the table was a modest increase in license tab fees. So the Senate went down from over $400 million of guaranteed money down to around $100 million from the license tab fees. That was still not good enough for the Republicans. And now that type of plan is being promoted by the Chamber of Commerce and a couple of construction labor unions. That is nowhere to be seen in this plan. So what worries me is we are already here at the end of March. We have maybe several weeks to put together a viable plan. And we are going backwards from where we even ended the session last year. So we have a long way to go. This bill provides not even a ray of hope for the needed compromises that have to happen to move this project forward. And again, I've seen a lot of bad transportation bills in my day that cut deeply into transit. Nothing like this. Nothing like this. And while you hear a lot about light rail, this cuts very deeply into bus rapid transit and local bus service. And so it's a wholesale attack on transit, and it's completely unacceptable.
So this could be another session without a transportation?
We have a long way to go, unfortunately, Tim. There's not even a ray of movement towards anything that I think the governor would accept, that we as a caucus would accept. We were open to compromise. Representative Johnson and I, again, not widely reported, but 2 years ago, in the run-up to the special session final negotiations, we said, we feel that a 10-cent gas tax is reasonable as a dedicated source of money. We compromised. We didn't go for the larger gross receipts tax that the governor had. And this is actually what I pointed out yesterday on the floor, is that Republican states all around us, and when I say Republican, I mean deep red, because they have both the House, Senate, and governor's office, in Iowa, in South Dakota, in Nebraska. They all passed gas taxes last biennium, before anyone knew what this election would turn out to be. So anywhere from 6 to 10 cents. Some even had license tab fee increases. Next door to us in Wisconsin, when they went towards a general fund approach, they had to backtrack because when they're facing a deficit, they raided the transportation fund. And that's exactly what would happen here. So the states around us are quite instructive. What's wrong with Minnesota?
Last year we saw the bonding bill, the transportation bill becoming entangled at the end. What's going on with bonding in the House? And is that going to be one possible way to get some additional money to transportation this year if the approach that the Republicans have today does not become law?
There's really nothing serious happening. When you look at the effort that it takes to get a major transportation bill through the Minnesota legislature or a major bonding bill, it requires the Speaker of the House to lean in and do a substantial amount of work, not just in the last 10 days of the session, but in the months leading up to the last 10 days of the session. And we just haven't seen any kind of serious effort at all, much less serious effort on behalf of Republican Speaker Doubt to move anything forward in terms of bonding or transportation.
I would like to step forward and just speak to the earlier question. I'm a natural optimist. I'm a Twins fan. I can't wait for Monday. But, you know, part of my optimism is based on the fact that there's been general consensus now for a couple of years that we're short $600 million a year for roads and bridges. And so if you figure that 10 cents on a gallon of gas would generate about $300 million, that gets us half of the way to the $600 million that's needed to address really securely our needs for improved transportation across Minnesota. It's really difficult for our side, and I think for a lot of Minnesotans, and certainly people where I live, to accept using general fund money. And so that using general fund money, perhaps $300 million towards that $600 million, is a very difficult vote for us. Likewise, evidently, it's very difficult for the opposite side to fund a tax increase or of real dedicated funding, constitutionally dedicated funding, that could match that. But therein may lie the seeds for the compromise. But there's got to be room to move from both parties. Representative Hornstein and myself, we're along with Representative Earhart and some senators, we're on a compromise bill in the special session a couple of years ago, got kind of missed. But I've talked a lot about that at home. And again, my school superintendent grimaces when I talk about it. But people where I live really are saying, let's get this done, let's do it right, let's do it now. And they recognize the need for compromise. I at least am one member who's willing to compromise, but this bill that's presented to us today just is not that sort of a compromise.
Representative Hornstein, would you get your money for more rail inspectors from assessing railroads?
Yes, this is currently how we fund rail inspectors. It's a very small amount of money that the railroads put forward. And so we're asking in my amendment for up to four additional inspectors. You know, Representative Torkelson had a rail safety bill that never was heard. He had up to 2. The governor wants 6, so I thought, why not? We'll do 4. So I hope that that some number is accepted today. We have, you know, again, increasing rail traffic and much less inspectors per capita than other states. We need to prevent problems from happening in the first place. The easiest way to do that is via inspectors.
How much would yours cost?
Well, it's several $100,000, but again, that's from the railroads. That's from an assessment.
You don't know specifically?
Well, it would depend on the number. I think that you know it's about would be in the neighborhood of 400,000. I'd say around about 100,000 per inspector.
Representative Davnie? My memory funding formula increases is a little foggy. How does this compare to previous years when the budget situation was not as good? Is this particularly a low increase proposal?
This is, in my time in the legislature, from my memory, this is the second lowest formula increase proposed in those years. The lowest was 2 years ago when Chair Loon brought forward a 0.5% increase both years on the general education formula. What's striking about this, besides to Representative Hortman's point that we've got a surplus, we're looking at a well below inflation increase on the formula, but she actually decreased her proposal after it left committee. I've never seen that happen before. Again, tying the tax bill together with the education bill, if we simply took the revenues that the GOP is assigning to their private school voucher scheme and instead put those on the general education formula, we would hit an inflationary increase for both years. It's a question of priorities. Private school voucher scheme, 95% of the students in the state who attend one form of public school or another.
When you talk inflation, are you talking about general statewide inflation? Or are you talking about education-specific inflation?
General inflation, last year it was 2.4% on the CPI. If we could get to 2%, I think, which is the governor's proposal, I think most school districts would say we can make it on that, but we can't invest in more of the programming that parents are asking for and that students need to move the needle on the achievement gap.
I want to double check that inspector cost, Mr. Davis. That's something I've heard, but I do need to confirm that. So, but it's, it's really for staff and some auxiliary costs associated with those positions. But, I would say it's fairly minimal compared to railroad profits.
I thought you had every number memorized.
No, sorry. But I'll get that information.
Transportation bill is chock full.